I remember this moment very vividly. 5 years after having started my business, I should have been riding emotional highs. I had a studio, I had employees, I was doing work with really notable companies. Yet here I was feeling depressed, burnt out, and a strong case of imposter syndrome. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. And it was because I hired all these super talented young designers who had fresh ideas, they knew the new tools and techniques, and I felt like I was past my prime. And it was coupled with the fact that I had been working for 5 years nonstop, hitting burnout, not taking a vacation. So at this moment in time, I decided to take a sabbatical. And coincidentally, I was invited to teach. And this was my first time teaching, so I was really scared. Who am I to teach? What do I know? What do I have to offer? So that first day was really nerve-wracking. But something wonderful happened. I started to find my voice. I had discovered things that I thought were not valuable to be valuable to people. The more I gave them, the hungrier they got, and the more I felt alive. And in that process, I found my self-confidence, and I made a promise to myself. You're never gonna feel that imposter syndrome again because you have more to offer the world. That's what teaching has done for me. I wanna share with you one more story. This is in 2014, decades after I had already started my company. A friend of mine, Jose Caballero, invited me to teach online with him via YouTube. Now, as an introvert, this is not something I was comfortable doing. I'd worked in production, but I'm a behind the camera kind of talent, not in front of the camera. Reluctantly, I decided to do this, and I found something else even more special than the first time I started teaching. I found that I can reach a whole lot more people in places that I've yet to see, cultures I've yet to discover. This act of teaching and sharing online changed my life, it changed my business, and it's what I do today. And I'm able to realize what I think is the creative person's dream, which is to earn a living, to be around people they love and are inspired by, but not to have to do any client work. I wish that dream for you. So if you're hearing this, if you're feeling the words that I'm saying right now, and you've been on the fence, I want to give you a little gentle push to get off it. Come join me. Now let's get into the macro level of how, discuss the why and the what, and I promise we'll get into the micro with the nitty-gritty details. I've structured my talk into 4 main parts. First, I'm going to tell you about why it's so important to have true fans and what they can do for you. Next, I'm going to talk to you about how to engage and create content for social media, how to activate the principles of generosity and reciprocity, and give you a blueprint on how to build a 6-figure business teaching. The best part, you don't have to quit your job or make any drastic changes to your life to realize the benefits of teaching. You just have to start. What can having an audience do for you? What is the benefit of having true fans? Part 1, let's start with Kevin Kelly. He's one of the co-founders of Wired magazine. And in a 2008 essay, Kelly wrote, "You don't need millions of dollars or millions of customers, millions of clients, or millions of fans to be a successful creator. You just need 1,000 true fans." Keep in mind, Facebook was only 4 years old at this time. It would be years before Instagram and Kickstarter would launch and take root. He was way ahead of his time. A true fan, an audience, or having a super fan, as defined by Kelly, is someone simply willing to buy anything you make as an expression of their admiration and support for what you do. And the best part is you're just 1 click away from connecting with your fans. According to Kelly, in order to make this work, you must have 2 components, a direct or peer-to-peer relationship with your fans and be able to make $100 in profit from each of your 1,000 true fans, giving you $100,000 a year. Now, you won't be rich or famous, but you can have a pretty good life. And you can do the math in a way that works for you. If you can make $200 in profit, you only need 500 fans. And conversely, if you can make $50 in profit, you'll need 2,000 fans. You get the idea. And here's the best part. True fans will drive 200 miles or 322 kilometers to see you speak or attend a concert that you put on. They'll buy the book, the ebook, the audiobook of the same book. And they'll even pay for a best of video compilation of the videos that you release for free on YouTube. Now, in the past, it would be difficult to have a direct relationship with your fans due to intermediaries. They're the barrier that keeps you from your true fans. They're the middlemen, the curators, producers, who essentially control the access and distribution of your content. You can see in a different way, publishers decide which books get printed, and labels decide which music got on the radio. Studios decided which movies get produced, and manufacturers decide which products go to market. Finally, galleries get to decide which art should be valuable. Thanks to crowdfunding, streaming, and social networks, this is no longer the case. The gatekeepers are gone. The best part is the public gets to decide, not some middle people. Now, speaking of the public, 4 years into starting the channel, our fans started asking us for a book. After enough people voiced this, I decided to put this to the test. Would interest convert into purchases? So we launched a Kickstarter campaign with a few sample pages, a funny title based on my name, and it was essentially just an idea. The goal was to hit $25,000 before investing real time and energy into writing a book. The results were pretty amazing. To my delight, we were funded in 16 days. When the campaign finished, we managed to sell $75,000 worth of books, more than 3 times our goal. We even had 5 backers who pledged $1,000. $1,000 for a book? I know, that's crazy, but that's not all. Having completed the initial run, we decided to see if more people might be interested in a second printing. That's when we launched on Amazon just a few short weeks ago on August 25th. To date, we've sold an additional 774 books for a total of $27,000. Here's what some of the amazing fans look like. So to sum it up, true fans don't just buy the book, they buy the ebook, the audiobook, but multiple copies of the same book. Okay, so if you're sitting there listening to this and thinking, it's too late, my time is up, or the window of opportunity is closed for me, I want to tell you, it's not too late. You're not too old or young, that the window of opportunity is wide open. When I started, I was the ripe young age of 42 when I made my first YouTube video. So what's the key here? You have to get started. And there's never been a better time to be a creative human. So part 2, what people get wrong about social media. And we know it's a very noisy world. I don't want you to contribute to that. And here's a quick little test that you can do. In his book, Permission Marketing, Seth Godin describes it this way. There are 2 forms of marketing. One is interruptive, which takes away time and attention. And the other is permission marketing, where you actually give and create value for others. So let's put it another way. It's a matter of mass versus niche media, or old versus new, push versus pull, yelling versus listening, and dare I say, ineffective versus effective. Mass media is impersonal and fights for attention through repetition. Mass media is persistent, interruptive, pervasive, and inescapable on television, radio, print, web, your inbox, and even your DMs. As a response, we've learned to mentally tune it out. If you're not convinced, let's do this test. What's the last ad you remember seeing in the last 48 hours? What did it say? And did you click? Mass media doesn't attract, it actually drives customers away. When you come to this realization, you're going to want to flip the script. Mass media looks something like this. So we want to go from something like this to something else. And what's the alternative? Niche media. Niche media asks, how might we improve the quality of life for our customers? Niche media creates value for the customer in exchange for their time and attention. Niche media educates, inspires, and empowers customers. And if you do this consistently enough, you might be able to achieve this. You can actually turn strangers into friends, friends into customers, customers into casual fans, and casual fans into, you guessed it, true fans. Marty Neumeier puts it this way: the best brand builders see greatness in their customers and figure out ways to enable it. So spend time thinking about who these people are and answer these questions. Who do they dream of becoming? What pain points and obstacles are they trying to overcome? What are their aspirations, hopes, and fears? What kinds of jobs are they trying to get done? Big companies and organizations focus on mass media, mass marketing, leaving niche markets totally wide open and ignored. And this is where the expression comes from. There are niches in the niches. Okay, the American version are there are riches in the niches. I want to tell you about another concept from Kevin Kelly, which is the long tail, in that there are significant profits by selling low volume to small markets. And if you look at it on a graph, it looks something like this. Mass media and big companies focus on the hits, the tentpole pictures, the best-selling books, while ignoring the long-tail niche content. And this is where you can find your true fans. Somewhere out there are thousands of people who are looking for the exact weird, idiosyncratic stuff that you make. Go find them. So if you're thinking that your audience is too small and that you're too weird and no one will show up, guess what? That's the point. I love James Victori's thought on this. The things that make you weird as a kid will make you great tomorrow. And tomorrow is today. Let me put this in marketing speak for you, an SVA, the smallest viable audience. And even if you only appeal to 1 in a million people, that's still 7,000 people, way more than enough to support you. Okay, to summarize here's some bullet points for you. First, you need to learn to listen. Before you speak, listen to your audience, engage in the community, see what's going on, and find out what they're thinking. And this is how you learn the language. And you want to be able to use this language in talking to your audience. And this is how you'll find common ground. And don't be afraid to speak about very personal things, to share the person behind the brand. And learn to have a dialogue. It's meant to be a conversation. So when you make a post or tweet or drop a video, be sure you hang around and have a conversation with the people who engage. You're rewarding them for tuning in. And if possible, create some kind of quick win. Give them something that they can put into action that helps them move closer towards their goals. So don't think big, think small. Think about it like this. Helping one person might not change the whole world, but it could change the whole world for one person. Speaking of change, if you're able to create change for people, it can actually create pocket change for you. I want to tell you the story about Dustin Lee from Retro Supply Company. He and his wife were out shopping one day, and something remarkable happened when they finished at the checkout stand. He checked his phone, and he discovered that he actually made more money from people who bought his products than he had spent in the store. How cool is that? Part 3, A Tale of Two Cities. You're probably thinking, Chris, how would this get me any work? I want you to stop thinking transactionally. I want you to go from transactional to thinking transformational. One way to look at this is to understand there are 2 games to be played. The first is the short game, which is akin to hunting, where you chase after clients, and there's periods where you feast, and unfortunately long periods where you're starving. The results are quite unpredictable, and you are mostly focused on sales and doing things like outbound marketing. You eat what you kill. The second game is more akin to farming, where you build an audience and fans. It's slow, patient, methodical work. It's also referred to as inbound or content marketing. This is where you consistently put in work every single day and reap the benefits of the compound effect. In essence, you eat what you grow. I want you to start to adopt a mindset of generosity. I know it's counterintuitive, but the more you give, the more you'll get. Not right away. Think of it like this. It's like making a deposit in the Karma Bank, and it will pay dividends. Once you've helped enough people, you activate the law of reciprocity. Okay, Chris, if I give away all my best kept secrets, won't I create an army of clones? Well, think of it this way. If you keep what you do a secret, you'll be the best kept secret that no one hires. It's because people only hire people they know, like, and trust. Seth Godin writes about this in This Is Marketing. He describes marketing as the generous act of helping others achieve their goals. So I want you to give freely, to give openly with zero expectations. Let's do a deeper dive into reciprocity. This is where Dr. Robert Cialdini writes about it in his book, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. When someone does something for you, you want to do something for them. It's a deep-seated psychological need to balance the scale. Take, for example, when somebody picks up the check, you immediately say, hey, I got the next one. So we start out in a state of stasis. Everything's in balance. And when we feel like we're getting too much, we want to rectify this. We want to correct it by giving back. See how this works? When you get, you want to give. There's a study involving a candy store. When customers were given a free sample, they were 42% more likely to make a purchase. Okay, let's look at the reciprocity principle as it relates to our content. Now, some of you may know this, but we've created over 800 videos with 49.9 million views and a staggering 7.6 million hours of content being watched by some 900,000+ subscribers. So what we've done is we've given people a ton of things and they feel like they've gotten some value to us. Well, how do I know? They tell us. They tell us that they learn more in one video than 1 year of university. Our videos got them through a dark period in their life, or it gave them the confidence to charge twice as much. So how do they respond? How do they give back to us? Where many companies pay to acquire customers' emails, our fans freely give it to us. And they sign up to be part of the 1 billion minus 1 mission, where we're trying to teach 1 billion people how to make a living doing what they love. While others voluntarily give us money in $5 increments every single month to help us continue our mission. Strangers Venmo us money for no other reason than to say thank you. And creating all this content has actually opened doors for collaborations with really big brands. Part 4. We're rounding the corner towards the end of my presentation, so I want to let you know, fasten your seatbelts. This is the part you've been waiting for. So here's my blueprint for how to make a 6-figure income business teaching. So in 2016, I created a SlideShare document. It was a typography manual, basically 10 rules on how to help people rule type. And this thing got over 107,000 views, which is pretty significant compared to the rest of my content. So I had this bright idea. People must want this, so I'm going to launch a typography class. This was going to be structured as a 7-week course, 3 hours per week, and it was going to be $1,400. A true bargain, in my opinion. So something incredible and unbelievable happened. Take a look at this graph. In the first 24 hours, we sold an incredible $42,000. That's insane, and that's when I woke up because this didn't happen. Many of you don't have a huge following, or your audience is too small, and you're definitely feeling my pain. The reality of it is hardly anybody even cared. A pathetic 51 people showed up and looked at our event. Maybe you feel my pain. Maybe you're thinking the same thing, that this is not going to work because I don't have a following either. Well, that's good news. I want to let you know everyone starts small. So naturally you're thinking how to grow an audience and build expertise. The answer, of course, is to make content. Make content out of the existing content that already works. That SlideShare document, the typography manual, already performed well. So what should we do with that? Well, let's turn that into a video. And in doing so and repurposing this content, it has gotten over 1.5 million views. And now I'm starting to build an audience. I got to get people to care first by showing up and meeting them where they're at. But we didn't just stop there. We made a lot more content around the subject matter of typography so that people would understand who we were and our intentions in trying to teach people. So we made things like design critiques, process videos, keyboard shortcuts. We made 2 mock posters to tell people what fonts they should be using. We looked at the work of Joseph Mueller Brockman and broke it down into grids, and including notes on typography and font design. Now that we built up enough authority on typography, we decided to launch a course. And we started off by doing a pre-launch in September of 2017 at the unbelievable price of $69. And to our surprise, it earned $25,000 in sales. Just a short month later, we finished production and launched the full course. And this was now $99. And this is where we get to the 6 figures and made $173,000 in sales. It's pretty incredible. Remember that idea of playing the long game? Like farming, when you plant a seed, your crop continues to grow. You build once, and it continues to bear fruit. So when people talk about a passive income business, this is what they're referring to. So a few short years after launching it, it's still generating sales for us, and to date, it's earned us over $500,000. And if you look at this graph over a period of several months, you can see that even in a single month, we earned $28,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra $28,000 in your pocket. You could use it to support your crazy hobbies or help a loved one. You get to decide. Okay, so here's the blueprint. What you want to do is, before you create the course or launch the book, build an audience first, pre-launch to gauge interest, and if the feedback isn't what you want, adjust the plan. Start off by pricing your products very attractively, and then over time, if you feel so compelled, you can increase the price, which then rewards early adopters for taking action. Lastly, for us, we launched the course by allowing people to access it free for the first 24 hours. Let's take this to another level. In Kyle McDonald's TED Talk, he talked about bigger and better, where he was able to trade a red paperclip ultimately for a house. I want to tell you a story about a friend of mine, Arree Chung. He's a children's book author and illustrator who wants to help people become more creative and pursue their dreams. Here's the backstory. Arree was preparing for a workshop, but due to COVID, it was canceled. Coincidentally, he also started seeing a lot of his friends struggling with homeschooling their young ones. He thought to himself, he's already done all the work and prepared. Why not just do the workshop for free and help out some people? He announced on Facebook, and 3,000 people signed up for this class. Of course, it was a disaster the first day. He even got Zoom bombed. But here's the cool part. Kids loved it. And naturally, their parents wanted more. Arree didn't have a plan, so he scrambled quickly to launch a course. So he emailed those 3,000 parents to see if they would be interested in taking a $47 3-week creativity camp. He was able to generate $9,000 in sales. Parents wanted more. So Arree took this very simple formula of running a 1-week free webinar to grow his email list, and then he would sell to those people. He just rinsed and repeated this several times. So he got to a point where he actually grossed $42,000, and he had this crazy, audacious idea. What if he can grow his email list to 100,000 people with a roughly 4% conversion? What would that do? How would that change his life? So once again, Arree launched the free 1-week live art instruction, but this time he added a contest component which saw his cost per acquisition go down by half. This course was $140 for 5 weeks, and he managed to get 4,700 people sign up. That's a total of $730,000 in sales. The amazing part is he sold the 50% in the first 36 hours. So what's Arree's blueprint for success? Well, let's take a look. The typical webinar model, which is basically the host tells you a backstory to make them seem really super relatable. They highlight the problem, tell you about the pain that you're probably feeling. They tell you about the offer and create things like fake scarcity, fake urgency, and then they wrap it up with bonuses because they want to squeeze the sale out of you. Unfortunately, after an hour and a half of this, they provided little value and insight to you because they promised the good stuff is behind the gated paywall. Arree decided to take this model and totally change it. Instead of doing a 1.5-hour webinar, he did a 5-hour webinar broken across 5 days. So each day he did a 1-hour webinar, and he created a little rule for himself: give before you ask. That should ring a bell for you because that's the reciprocity principle at play. So the first 2 days he focused purely on teaching, no selling whatsoever. It wasn't actually until the 3rd day that they even knew that there was actually a class that they could buy into. And here he used the idea of offering the early bird discount. You'll be surprised at how many people will take advantage of saving just a little bit of money. By the time the week wrapped up, he told them that the enrollment was ending and they had a limited time to purchase. This was real scarcity because the class was getting ready to start. This was all live teaching. Let me recap what Arree did. When disaster strikes, look for the opportunities. He seized the moment. He created the week-long webinar where he focused on giving value away first. He also created a no-brainer offer, which was free and a very low price 5-week camp. He delivered value consistently, and he used the principles of scarcity and urgency to get people to take action. And when he found something successful, he reinvested it and doubled down on the strategy. Before I go, I just want to share some resources with you, which you can screen capture or message me on social media, and I'll send you the links. Thank you very much, everybody. I want to wish you well and encourage you to start teaching